All right. Well, hello and welcome back again. As always, I was waiting to see if the song was going to end, but didn't seem like it was going to, so we got to cut it off. Anyway, though, welcome to week 10. Here you can see the current state of the standings. We'll pause on that. You can see four teams clinched, one eliminated, two who are like as close as can be, and I was shocked too. To be honest, I really thought that these teams, like, I would look at it and find they're clinched. Somehow they aren't. I did manage to find a way that both of these teams can end up out, I do believe. But it shouldn't happen. And matter of fact, both can clinch tonight. So, we'll see. Meanwhile, there is a mess down below them. So we'll be trying to sort them out. And we can move over to our scenarios, which, by the way, because there are so many, I've decided to split so that initially I had them as tiny little boxes, but you can see now instead we're just going to flash between the two. First screen is clinches, second screen is eliminations. It'll be the same for Prism. But you can see those next three, the 2, 5, and 4, and Atlanta have a way to clinch this week. Meanwhile, the Fallen and Demons can be eliminated. Now, you might notice missing from this is Erie and Inchin, and well, as far as we could find, they can't clinch or be eliminated this week, and it'll probably come down to next week's game for them. Now, as I will say, for Erie, it's definitely a good idea to win this, at the very least, for either seeding, or maybe it makes it easier for them to clinch. Like, maybe they can still get in with a loss somehow, or something like that. But they definitely want to win this, but I don't believe they can clinch with even if they win, or be eliminated even if they lose. But, could be missing something there. That we'll find out as the week goes on. Again, that has happened, where like we mark Honolulu can't clinch, then we find another way that they could have. Or we don't think that Round Rock can be eliminated, then we come back to it and we find a way that they actually are eliminated at the end of the week. So maybe as the week goes on, that'll change, but for now, that's where we're at. So this game doesn't directly matter. However, you can see a lot of those, as actually Birmingham can clinch by this game. I do see that. I believe if the Monarchs win, Birmingham would clinch, it looks like there. And we do have everyone in, so we're going to quickly look at these and then get started, and then I'm going to have to end that prediction because I made it too long. But, so your key players are Gamer and Bozy. Average is definitely in favor of Erie, who I will say have had a stronger season overall, but Monarchs have looked good as of late, and so we'll see. As soon as our teams join, which I have given them the ready, I am going to cut off this prediction, and we are going to get underway. Game number 1 here on Manfield, as always. Eclipse taking on the Monarchs. Erie enter as favorites, but the Monarchs, even if they're eliminated, they want to battle back. They want to play upset. They want to ruin the runs of everyone else. This one now rolling out. Bozy trying to play it away again. Erie are going to be in their gold. Both these teams do typically have a black primary, but can't do that, and so did choose to make Erie yellow because there is more of a yellow than there is an orange. I did also change which orange the Monarchs have to try to differentiate it from the yellow a little bit. You can see there. So, this one will drop down towards Arrow again. Double commit with Louis, which I do believe Louis went like 0 for 7 or something shooting last week. But as that one is in from Boomer, hold on. That'll take the focus for now. As Gamer bangs it downfield and Boomer able to get up, redirect it in. Bozy just turns the wrong way. Not able to get there. Gamer trying to play it up into the corner. Now this one popped around the outside. Arrow trying to get there. There's a 50 by Gamer dropping in front of the net, but no one's there to play it in. Double commit there. It'll bounce off the sidewall. Louis not able to find a touch either. Now it's Arrow trying to dive in next. Gamer just a pop off the corner. Now Boomer trying to bounce it in. This one pops off the back of his car. Now flicked forward again. So, reviewing the scenarios again, Erie cannot clinch or be eliminated this week as far as we know for now. Madison are already eliminated. However, this game does matter to other teams. If Erie lose, Birmingham will clinch. And then Atlanta, in order to clinch, also need either Erie or Incheon to lose. So they're also hoping that Erie lose. And then New Mexico can be eliminated if one of Erie or Incheon win. So they also want Erie to lose. So basically New Mexico, Birmingham, and Atlanta all want Erie to lose. Although Birmingham also have other ways to clinch, so, you know, they don't really need it. But it would help them. Take some pressure off tonight. This one's popped around again. Obviously, that loss not doing very well so far. Erie already 1 goal to the better. Boomer's 50'd out by Arrow on that one. Honda trying to turn in, bounces it just wide. Boomer trying to go, but it is a double commit. As I do think that is the main criticism we've had of Madison at times. It's a little bit too much panic. Seen Bozy and Louis and Bozy and everyone. Again, Bozy has been one of the central pieces of it, but not saying like Louis especially hasn't been either. Seen a lot of just jumping too fast, double committing, getting on top of everything, and really just overplaying the ball, meaning that they don't get a good touch in the end. So that'll be the main thing we see if they can keep in check. And I will say we have seen the exact same complaint from multiple of Erie's rosters throughout the season. So we'll see. I think Erie, I believe, have won 2 straight games. I say that. I think they've lost 1 fairly recently. I don't remember which week, but actually it might be 2 straight. Yeah, I think they've won 2 straight. Madison don't have 2 wins on the season, unfortunately, but again, they have put up a good fight in some of their recent games. Went to game 5 against Boston last week, as there's a trade of demos. That'll center. Starting to get awkward. That touch gets it away from Gamer. It is at Honda. He'll pop it up off the back wall again. Did they play Havoc last week? Okay. Oh, yeah, right. They did. They won 2 straight until that. Because I was going to say, I thought they were 1-5, but they're now 3-6. But yeah, right. They did lose to the Havoc last week after winning 2 straight. But, you know, Erie did go on that short little run. And, yep, right, game 5. So that's another good performance overall. So Erie, I think, definitely have the recency. Although Madison can't be discounted either, as we have a bit of a slow first game here. These teams just trying to find their footing. Haven't seen too much thrown towards the nets. The 1 goal coming through from Erie and a couple more shots that have been blocked away. This one now in the air for Honda. He'll bounce it down across again. Boomer trying to catch up, but can't quite get there. Honda now 50'd back. Louis trying to get a pass down. He'll drop it down to Bozy, and he will find the corner. Perfect placement through for Bozy, and it's a tie game. 1-1 now. What a clean snipe by Bozy. Again, he was the goal scorer for Madison, at least in the early parts of that series. I believe got the first 5 goals for them, and then it ended up getting turned around, and I think Arrow got the next 4 or so. And this one's toward the net. Louis will block it away. Of course, now 20 seconds to go. Guaranteed to see at least 1 more goal from someone here, whether in regulation or OT. Boomer trying to stay with this one. Able to bang it forward. Louis already in the air. Pop up into the corner. Now bouncing down again. Louis not able to reach it. Boomer going to roll it across. It pops up off Arrow. Now Boomer can't find that. The clock will drop down at the midfield. That one popped up in the air again. Looks like a last chance for the Monarchs, although not going to get much going. Gamer does keep it alive. He'll clear it forward. That one will drop. Arrow lets it go, and it is 1-1 overtime in game number 1. Boomer trying to pop it up. He'll stay with it. Pop to the crossbar, trying to drop it down. Honda racing in. Still can't find the angle. Now Gamer has to fake challenge back. Does manage to get the catch to the side. And now he'll control back into his corner. Now Gamer still with it. Louis up to the back wall. It'll roll down. Now Boomer pop back again. Bozy trying to get the shot, but it's cleared out. Now Gamer still trying to get there. Bozy now will cut. He'll stay with it. Honda up to the ceiling. This one will bounce down. Now Gamer getting it away. Out to Bozy. He'll just get a touch to the side. Arrow will try to dive in. It'll eventually, though, get turned around. Madison dropping down. Arrow blocked in. Honda forced a retreat, though. Gamer trying to wait. He'll get a high touch up in the air. Now it's Bozy out to the side again. Boomer trying to dive and not able to get there. Madison dropping down. Boomer off the side wall. Gamer trying to get it forward. Bozy just going to get a long clear away. Honda trying to catch it to the side. Honda now another pop away. Gamer already in the air. And now played out to the side. This one off the side wall. Boomer trying to pop it up. Now out to the side again. Honda going to leave it to Gamer. He'll take it out to the right side. 90 seconds of OT and ticking. This one will drop down. Honda trying to take it up. Louis going to dunk it to the side again. Bozy still staying with it. Gamer going to try for a clear. Almost to the 2-minute mark here. This one get played forward. Now dropped off the side again. Arrow off the corner. Boomer going to get another long clear away. That one just off target. Honda's there, but can't double it back in. Now this one towards net again. Bozy plays it out to the side. Now Honda trying to center it, but can't quite get to that. Gamer dunk back across again. Boomer just going to take it up to the air. He'll stay with it. Gets another touch, but Bozy gets up for a save. Now Honda tracks it down. He'll try to cut. Half a game played. We still continue on here in our first match. Boomer, though, gonna find a strong shot, and that will break through. 7.5 minutes. 2.5 in OT to break the deadlock here. But it's gonna be a 2-1 win in game number 1 for the Eclipse. I'm interested to see the shot totals because it definitely felt like a game played in the midfield. Boomer, of course, getting both goals. And, I mean, there is a lot more pressure there for Erie. Outshooting 12-7. 5 shots on each Boomer and Gamer. And like we said, the 2 goals coming through from Boomer. So, definitely didn't feel like there was a lot of pressure, which might be something Erie want to change. See if they can turn more threatening shots on net. And maybe keep it trapped in there more. But they did get more on the shots, on the score sheet there for shots. So we'll see as we go forward. Madison obviously not entirely outclassed there, able to force a long OT, but can they break through? Can they find more pressure of their own? Did feel like that was a defining thing of the Boston series. And that one's played forward, now popped up in the air. Honda will try to dive, but pushed out to the side. Felt like in that series, Madison, when they were able to push forward, get more shots, get more pressure, that was their way to win games. This one drop down to Louis. He'll get a long clear. By the way, this matters for Birmingham, not Boston, as there's another shot blocked by Honda. Is that pretty much, in case you remember, Birmingham and Boston both have 5 wins. And from 7 to 11, which includes the playoff line, obviously, have 3. So with 2 weeks to play, they can at worst tie, which means they're not clinched just because there is, for both of them, I'm pretty sure it's a tie. Like one way that things can go that eliminates them. And for Boston, that they need 8 matches to go a specific way. And so that's that. As that's centered, though, and Boomer will score. Now, of course, Boomer has typically, well, he has considered himself the sub on this team, but as he typically does, he plays until he loses, and so staying in here, and he has all 3 Erie goals so far. But as I was saying, there's one tie that can eliminate both Birmingham and Boston, and so they basically need either one more win or results that make it so that tie can't happen. And so for Boston, despite them needing 8 games to go a specific way, they don't care about Erie, because their tie doesn't involve Erie, and it involves Inchin, who would need to beat Erie next week anyway. So Boston don't care about this match. Meanwhile, Birmingham's tie, I believe it does involve Erie. And so a loss does clinch Birmingham. So, it's just interesting. Those two teams, I so expected them to be clinched, and I'm honestly just impressed I found ways that they aren't. There's Louis, able to pop this one up. Bozy trying to get it off the corner again, now dropping down. Honda gonna pop it up in the air. Arrow off the corner again. This one now dropping down. Gamer trying to bounce it away. Louis will dive in. He'll get it up the sidewall. Again, this game started with a shot by Madison. They have been able to push forward more. Yeah, I mean, as that is going backwards, but Louis does bail it out. I thought that was going to be another goal. Well, Boston have one way they can be eliminated, and it's like a 5-way tie that needs 8 specific games. So they need 8 games to end in a specific result in order to be eliminated. So, and it's like they lose out, Birmingham lose out, Incheon win out, New Mexico win out, I think. There might be Atlanta win out as well. Let me find it. Yeah, I got all 5. As this one played to the backboard, it'll bounce up. Now Honda try to play it away again. No. They're not out, but New Mexico can be eliminated. And it's if they lose, Atlanta win, and one of Incheon or Erie win. So it satisfies one of the 3 conditions if Erie win this. Bandits are the team that can clinch if Erie loses. This is off the crossbar, and Bozy going to send it away. Now Boomer's turned around, and Arrow is going to find an equalizer. So for the second game in a row, it'll be a 1-1 tie here. Just a good long clear. Erie a little bit too far forward, and they get beat by it. Essentially, Bussin', because they're the ones who can directly clinch. However, like I said, Atlanta need one of Erie or Incheon to lose, and so it matters for them. New Mexico need one of... Well, New Mexico can be eliminated if one of Erie or Incheon win, so they're affected. Obviously, Erie can't clinch or be eliminated this week, but they still want the win. So it matters for a lot of teams. Probably most well, I don't know. I can't really say mostly Erie, because again, I don't know. We'll find out. I have a feeling Erie versus Incheon next week might just be for the last spot or something. But generally, Erie do obviously want to win this for their own chances, but the only direct immediate effect would be Birmingham clinch if Erie lose. Anyway, though, final 30 seconds, and there's a shot for Gamer. As soon as we refocus, Erie are gonna take the lead right back. Gamer just a long clear from the midfield. Kind of a similar goal to Madison's, but it does get through, and Erie now with 30 seconds to go have another lead. Boomer wins it into the corner again. But I'll tell you, last thing I think we can say really for now, it's a lot more chaotic than Prism, where I don't think it's likely, but it is possible that the top 8 is locked in this week. So, as this one bounced away, Arrow not able to play it, and that might just ice the game. Honda will work it the other way. That is a big win by Louis, though. Monarchs need a goal. That touch will be big for Gamer. That kills the clock. Off the crossbar and down. Erie are on match point. Able to hold on. Again, they concede a goal to tie it up, but once again, they outshoot by 5, this time 5-3. Arrowblade, the only one to get shots for Madison. And to be fair, Honda not finding any either, but still 8-3 in shots, 2-1 in goals. Definitely not dominant, but able to control it enough are the Eclipse. Same scoreline in both games, this time, of course, ending in regulation, as we do load in game number 3. Honestly, while we're just about starting this game, there's been a lot of playoffs talk because, you know, first game of the week, bit of a slower game doing that. But really, the main thing, now that we're later in the season, we can look into all of this. You know, early on, we say we only count clinches by record because it's way too hard to figure out all of the head-to-heads and all of the ties that can happen as Gamer gets another goal. So once again, Erie are going to play from in front. Just put it wide. Honda pops it right back up. Defense lost, not able to get a touch, and Gamer just cleans it up. But once we get down to the end here, we can really figure out, okay, teams have 2 games to play. Head-to-heads are pretty much established. We can now figure out how all these ties go. And that means a lot more effort into figuring out the scenarios, but also a lot more specific, as that is a great touch by Gamer, and that's goal number 2. Gamer pops it up and just stays behind it. What a last touch there. Lands a little bit ahead of it, just manages to slow it down, pop it towards net, and it falls right through. Royce, he said this last game, he feels like Arrow is better at finishing their shots. They need someone who can put the goals in, and he feels like Arrow is better at that, which is why he's kind of sat himself more as the sub. This one centered, it's Boomer again. Also that's a good point. Boomer gets the dunk to push it to the corner and then gets the backflip. You see him call it the barred backflip to make it 3-0. Definitely the best start we've seen from the Eclipse. And they are on the verge of a sweep. Again, I'm not going to be entirely surprised if we find a way at the end of this week that Erie clinch. But I don't think so, because they still play Inchin, and that makes it tough for them. Because Inchin are also another team who have really good head-to-heads, and so losing that would be tough for them. So that's why I think it'll come down to next week for them. But assuming they hold on to this, it's at the very least a good sign for their seeding, and it could help make it easier that maybe game diff becomes a thing, and getting a sweep helps them have a better game diff or something like that, you know? As Boomer going to shoot that one, it goes just wide. Honda now trying to turn around. This one dunked up to the ceiling. It'll bounce off the back wall. Gamer trying to track it. One touch out, beats Louis, but now Bozy the next dunk in. Honda gets it out to the side again. Honda now. Long clear forward, but Louis will turn it back the other way. Gamer. Now back to Arrow. His touch is wayward. Boomer is there. It's 2 for Boomer, 4 for the Eclipse, and they are running away with it here on Urban Central. First 2 games, a great fight by Madison. Felt like they were pushed back, but not really allowing Erie to break through much. This time, quite the opposite. Erie really just putting the goals through, growing their lead, and of course 3 minutes on the clock. Definitely still a chance for a comeback, but the light gets dimmer and dimmer as we go on. And now Boomer trying to play it forward. Arrow trying to clear it away again. Honda out off the left side. Arrow. Boomer trying to get it away again. Bozy bouncing it forward towards the net. Louis will get it away. Now Louis another long clear. Boomer down from the ceiling. Looking for the play. There's Gamer, but Bozy, with the last of his boost, is able to reach it as we cross the halfway mark here. By the way, as we said, this result will mean Erie, it seems, are not going to lose, which means Birmingham will not clinch with this game. However, Birmingham and Boston both have 4 ways to clinch this week. That knocks it down to 3 for Birmingham, but they will play the next game tonight, and they are in if they win. Now, they do play KC, so it's a bit of a tough game. And I will also say, if Birmingham win, Boston will also clinch a spot. So that is the result that could clinch both teams if it goes that way. As Louis now pops this one up. Boomer trying to go with it. Not able to find a touch, though. Arrow off the back wall. Bozy is there, but it's right at Gamer. Close on the shot, but just blocked away. So this will take one way of clinching away from Birmingham, one way of clinching away from Atlanta, and it will tick off one of the 3 conditions to put New Mexico closer to being eliminated. So that'll be the fallout of this result, and Boise will get one back. So of course, 76 seconds to go. This one isn't over just yet. As Bosie plays it off the corner, it just bounces across. Boomer not quite able to read it. Gamer does demo the second man, but Bosie just sticks with it and scores it himself. That is goal number 3 of the series for the Monarchs, and it's the second for Bosie. Now this one's popped to the back wall by Arrow. Boomer tapping it back down. Arrow trying to catch. Gamer 50 off the back wall. Now Honda's there, can't find a play. Boomer trying to get the mid boost. Louis gets a touch, gets a flick, and Boomer makes the save. Under 1 minute to go now. Honda plays it up to the ceiling. And this one cleared out again. Gamer able to roll it down the center, and that goes the whole way. It's a hat trick for Gamer, and that makes it 5-1 Erie. And so their 4-goal lead is re-established. And we're starting to get to the end, and that, I believe, should be more than anything else the nail in the coffin here. This one's caught by Boomer again, and he'll get a pinch away. Now popped back out to the side. Boomer going to stick with it. Final 30 seconds. That one dunked into Boomer. He'll pop it up. Bosie trying to control. Gamer takes it away. Honda trying to dive in. He'll get 50'd up off the corner again. Now that one shot forward. Bosie makes a save. Honda is there. That makes it 6. And again, once again, Erie are just kind of securing their win here. Could probably skip replays, but you know, we're vibing. 20 seconds to go. All but a formality. Monarchs put up a good fight as yet another goal goes in. So they're still putting in the fight. Still getting those goals on the board as, again, number 4 for the Monarchs, number 3 for Bosie. Continues to be their main goal scorer. And for Madison, as they will play Missouri next week. Not looking great for them, although, again, Missouri can clinch the number 1 with a win this week. That's not something that's gone on the graphic, but it is something to note. That Missouri can guarantee the number 1 seed if they win this week. And so it is to be noted, maybe Madison will play that one without anything to do, or Missouri will play that without anything to play for, so maybe they can slip up a win. And I believe with this loss, Madison will also be locked into the number 12. So definitely a bit of a disappointing season for them thus far, but you know, you see the effort, showing up with all 4, asking for scrims, everything, and they have put up a fight in these games, so you gotta respect that. But not going to be enough here, and so that is a big win for Erie. Pushes them a little bit closer. I know he will check in. He said, Boomer sent me just the word yes before he asked about an interview, and so we will be back in just one moment. And we are back with Erie, clean enough on the 3-0. How does it feel to get the win?
Really, really good.
Woo.
This was my send-off game, so.
I was going to ask, obviously, you have played yourself as a sub with this new roster. How's it feel to get back in there, get 3 games, and get some pretty good goals in there?
It felt good. I haven't really played the game much at all past week or so. So I was like, you know what? I think I can play this game, this series, and we should still probably win. But after this, I'm probably perma-benched. So I trust my boys, but I wanted to get one more in there.
Woo.
And Royce was having internet problems. He was lagging a lot in the scrim. So I was like, yeah, it's probably best we at least try this.
Fair enough. And
Me and Gamer got a cooking on the passes, Gamer. You were freaking diving me up, bro.
They weren't supposed to be passes.
Shh. Don't tell them that. Oh, yeah, I forgot you were on that team. You did kind of destroy them.
It's all
This-
love.
I think the main question we got to ask, obviously, 1 week to go against Inchin. Now I think you'll definitely be winning in, but it should be a pretty important game. You feeling confident for that?
Yes. I don't know if Honda says yes, but yes.
No, we're gonna cook. Smurfy sucks.
We got to get that monkey off your
Good
back,
Tom.
Honda.
Whoa.
I wouldn't
Okay,
call him
that's
that.
what I meant. Hold on. Honda told me before this game, yeah, I needed to tell you, Boomer, I haven't beaten Smurfy in any league, so we got to do it.
Yeah.
He's talked a lot of
Must
crap
be done.
about my team, so
Then obviously early. But if you had to pick one other team, assuming you make it, who do you think is the 8th?
oh, Demons, we're going to the finals. Demons Eclipse in the finals, obviously. You guys know this?
Wish them luck.
Why did Boomer give up his first round pick? Because we're going to the finals, baby.
Demons are in a bad spot, but they have the schedule to determine it. So
That is the one thing. Ours, like the way that our schedule worked out, like all the like quote unquote bottom teams, not even quote unquote, just standings wise. Like we play them, so we're gonna have head to head. Hopefully, well, I mean,
Yeah.
we have to win next week. We'll have head to head against everybody that could keep us from getting in there. So
yeah, that's Demons'
Worked out all right.
problem. Is Demons lost to all those teams earlier in the season, but they do still play Atlanta and New Mexico now, so they can get head to head over those and beat those teams. So that kind of
Yeah.
they probably control it, but like they're out if they lose this week. So
he kind of were big. We were big braining it.
Yep.
Save the drama for the end.
Pixel's a nightmare to scenario, but that's fine. I've just shocked Boston and Birmingham aren't clinched yet, but
I'm just happy we got our game out of the way this early. Not to think about this the rest of the week. It's
Yeah.
great.
And 3-0 feels good.
It does feel good. Should have beat Havoc, but it's all right.
Happens though. Hey, as long as you get in, does it really matter?
Nope.
Exactly. So that's about all I have. Congratulations on the win. Good luck next week.
GG's. Thanks for casting.
Thanks,
Yes, thank
Dogbert.
you, as always.
Yeah, so like we said, Birmingham gonna have to wait at least one more hour. But they do play the next game. That one will be a 9 p.m. start. KC versus Birmingham. Should be a pretty good game. I think KC are the favorites, but Birmingham, like we said, a lot to play for. The power to clinch both themselves and Boston with a win. Hoping it's a good one. You won't want to miss it. Your final score here, Erie 3, Monarchs 0. Make sure you tune back in just a little bit.